music. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, dude. What can I tell you? I just can't go there with you anymore. You fight with the range officer. You sweep everybody with the muzzle of the shotgun when it's loaded. I mean, what is wrong with you? What? Oh, Milsurp Garage. What's up, everybody? Just got out of the trap range. I have some breaking news. So the Winchester Model 40. It, if you remember, it had some cycling issues where it would eject the shell every time, but wouldn't stay back. The bolt wouldn't stay back. It did 3 of the 25 times in a trap game. So those 3 tell me that it's not broken, but that it has cycling issues. So when we were in the A5 messing around for the video yesterday, had the idea, hey look, the ring system is similar. Winchester, as far as I know, doesn't say anything about moving rings around. You know what I mean? I'd have to check the instruction books from back in 1940 to really be sure. Like, couldn't hurt to download the manual, see if I can find it. But I don't think they want you messing with the rings, but setting it up the way it would be set up for the A5 for light loads, it did work better. It wasn't 100%, but the last 8 shots stayed back. So I wanted to do another round just to be like, well, you know, if the last 8, maybe it worked the bugs out. You know, it was definitely better. It was better even before the 8. It was like maybe 50-50. Maybe a little worse than 50-50. But the last 8, it seemed like it was good. And I shot a 23 with it that round. You know, when I'm not paying attention, it just goes to show. I shoot really good when I'm like paying attention to the gun and watching how it's cycling and looking at everything. I was very, very careful that the bolt was fully closed when I would pull the trigger, because remember yesterday in that Winchester book that came, I was editing the video when that Winchester book came. So I just got it in there. But on the Model 40, it said something weird. It said the round goes off before the bolt is fully closed, which that really makes no sense to me, because that's like a machine gun problem, right? Like, what? It's not supposed to go off when the bolt is all the way closed. It's supposed to go off when you pull the trigger, right? Shouldn't have anything to do with the bolt. Well, I don't know what the hell they were talking about. I'm thinking because there were some issues with, I read a couple of chat threads of people saying that it fires out of battery, that maybe just that's the problem. Maybe that's what they meant, is that the bolt wasn't fully closed. It's long recoil. I don't know how that would matter. Yeah, I guess it would matter. If it's not up against the barrel, I don't think that's long recoil. What would that do to the long recoil system? This is some good questions here. Some food for thought, but basically, I just have to make sure it's closed all the way. And I started thinking, I'm like, wait, you know, it does have this thing where when you close the bolt, it hangs up a little bit. You got to kind of push it with your thumb to be all the way closed. And I started thinking, I want to get the gun out, I want to see if I could duplicate that. Because if I could duplicate that getting hung up a little bit thing, I want to see if I pull the trigger, if the hammer falls. Because if it does, then that's the problem. Because then it would probably fire right then, out of battery. But if the bolt's not all the way home, how does the firing pin into shell? I'm not like an expert on these, out of battery things, but there's something there if it's written in those few places. And I'm telling you, the bolt hangs up like that. I got to check that out. As far as the A5, check this out. The A5, I didn't realize that I had the A5 set up for light loads. I always thought I had it set up for heavy loads, and it was cycling the birdshot for trap, 7.5s. So I was like, there you go. I don't need to change anything. I can't make it any stiffer. It cycles, but it was actually in light mode. So as far as I know, I was battering the crap out of it. I know, because I switched it for heavy loads, and it cycled just fine. As a matter of fact, not just fine, it cycled smoother, softer. It was nice. I think I might have been for a while. I might have been using this gun for, as many times as I went in like a year or two. I might have been having it in this light load mode when it probably would have been better. But I didn't fire it semi-automatically, and you always have to do that. You would think it would be synonymous. You go like, well, if the bolt stays all the way back, it's going to fire semi-automatically. Not always, especially with a design as weird as the A5, because the mechanism that holds the bolt back is obviously taken out of the mix when you have another shell coming behind it. Something is knocking that out of the way. But when it is out of the way, the mechanism that allows it to function semi-automatically to load the next shell, let's say, the bolt might actually have to be further back for that to function properly. So it might have just enough oomph to keep the bolt back after each shot, but it could still hang up when you try to use it semi-automatically and not have enough to kick out the round and load the next one. You always have to like fully check that. But I'm pretty confident it would work with the bird shot even right there, the way it's set up for the heavy load. So that's kind of good that we got that ironed out. And that was my fun with friction rings for the day. And I'll check that out. I'm gonna get home right away, and I'm gonna see if I can get that Model 40 to hang up like that out of battery, where it doesn't close. But you push it with your thumb, it makes a click, and the bolt goes all the way home. I'm gonna check it out and see if the hammer will fall if it's in that position. All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's see what's going on here with the Model 40. Let's get it up here. And so if you just let it ride closed off the bolt release, there's no doubt that it's closing. I mean, bang, that's like a serious trip there. And I have not seen it do that once where then the hammer falls. All right, I've done that a bunch of times. Let's throw this in there. Snap cap, by the way. And yeah, it's not dropping the hammer with any of that banging or slamming. I've done enough of this slamming around to know that that's not going to happen. But maybe it's on like a slow ride, and see, it does kind of hang up right there. Nothing there. See, then there's this like this movement here, which that is actually similar to the A5 here. The A5 has that too. Does that have something to do with the firing pin? I have to know what that is. I do some research. To delve into them. See, the A5 is one of those guns that like I don't take apart because it's very intimidating. It really is. I've watched videos on it and stuff. See, that's where I'm talking about, where it hangs up, but there's no no. Oh well, it did kind of. Hold on a minute. And this was open just a little bit to here. Yeah, it's dropping, but I don't know if that makes that much of a difference. Not exactly out of battery. I would call that out of battery. And then even as soon as this goes all the way back, nothing. It's almost like this is kind of like a disconnector. I don't see it firing anywhere until the bolt's closed. So that's out. I don't know where that's coming from. It's just more nonsense on this gun. So everybody's telling lies about it. Everybody just was like, well, was the 1911 really that bad that a nice shotgun couldn't have come along right after it? It seems like Winchester hated it more than all the people that hated it. I don't know what's going on here, but I just shot a 23 with it, and I wasn't even paying attention. Secondly, got something else going on here that's interesting. The YouTube, listen to this. The YouTube terms of service stuff changed in regards to gun channels here. This is an awesome thing. So I'm going to pop these up over here, these pictures. So this is what I'm used to getting here. And after reviewing my videos, there's a bunch of these. They confirmed it isn't suitable. All right, so even the Savage Model 25 video, you watch that video, you tell me what's not suitable. Here's their problem. Okay, this is what it used to say. It used to say gun modification, and then in parentheses it said including assembly and disassembly. And that was in the demonetization part. So every single time I would open up a gun and show how it worked inside, they would consider that. That isn't even assembly and disassembly. Very rarely do I show how to take a gun completely apart and put it back together. I don't do those videos. But I like to show what's inside, how it works, how it functions. And that was a big no-no for them. They didn't even have anything against that. They just had something against assembly and disassembly, but I guess that for them was enough to show assembly and disassembly. Now, they've stricken that out of there completely. So now what it says, much more fair, it shows you're not allowed to show gun creation or modification. So a gunsmith that wants to show how to do certain things, they don't care if you're doing something that makes it illegal or not illegal, or just probably even just putting scope mounts on. That's modification, and that's probably a no-go. But I don't do any modification. But now in parentheses they put including assembly or disassembly in the context of modification, which is cool. This is getting, now the reviewers are very well aware of the slight change here, because my videos are now getting monetized, which means they're going to get promoted. So, and all these other things, promote gun makers, sellers, sales, miners, bump stocks, hair triggers, thermal, incendiary ammunition. None of this is going on. This is interesting here. There's a magazine, there's a round limit on YouTube. Content featuring large capacity magazines, 30 rounds or more, attached to or separate from a gun. You're not allowed to show a 50-round magazine, even if you don't have the gun on the table. So it's kind of interesting that they have a round limit. But they shouldn't be bothering me anymore for showing you what's inside of a gun. So that's pretty cool. And that should close things on the old Model 40 over here. It's functioning awesome. And no cracks. No damage. Nothing feels loose. Nothing's exploding. The bolt's in one piece. Well, not one, you know what I mean. All right, all. Take care, and we'll see you soon.